Hey there. Thanks so much for tuning back in. If you are a recent viewer of the channel, if we're new to each other, my name's Liz, and I'm just here to candidly share my journey in my path and finding the best version of myself. So, today's video is a bit of a quicker one. I just thought I needed to create a video to sort of timestamp in my life my thoughts and feelings prior to undertaking my most ambitious solo trip to date. So I'll be very shortly, in a couple of days' time. I'm still recovering from a chest infection, so if I'm a little nasally and croaky, that's why. But essentially, yeah, I'm getting ready to go on my big solo road trip. I'll be away for, I think it'll be 16 days, 16, 17 days. So it's about 2.5 weeks. So yeah, it's going to be a big one. It's driving out to more remote areas that I haven't been to before, and I just thought, yeah, I'd just record a little bit of my thoughts and feelings prior to me going, and maybe what are some of my goals and intentions for going on this trip. Prior to going on this trip, I think all the the normal things happened around. I've been so busy with work, and then I've gotten sick, and a few things have happened, and I think when that happens, when things start to pile up, the temptation of dropping things is there. I guess one benefit of a road trip and camping, because I'll be just camping along the journey for the most part. I'm staying with a friend for a couple of nights. And other than that, I'm out on my own and staying at campsites most of the time. And the great thing about that is, you can adjust your journey as you need to. But yeah, so the temptation to cancel was pretty strong, because it's sort of like, I mean, I would have probably lost the fee I paid for one of the particular campsites I've already prepaid for, so I would have lost a bit of money in doing that. But I can always have delays, and I can always push things back and things like that. But um, another part of me was like, no, you wanted this. This is really important. I know I'll feel disappointed if I let this go. um, there's certainly a time and a place for rest and recovery, absolutely. But moving into one of the goals and intentions I have is, yes, it's going to be adventure packed, and yes, there's going to be a lot of driving involved, but I find those things rejuvenating. I guess it's because it's not just about relaxation for me. Like, the best kind of holiday isn't just a relaxing holiday, it's a rejuvenating holiday. It's something that it sort of allows me to be the most me outside of all of the pressures and stresses of daily life and bills and daytime day jobs and all of that sort of stuff. So I think that adventure and driving on the road aspect of it, although it takes a bit of energy to do those things, will be rejuvenating for me. There is a campsite that I'll be staying at, a very special campsite that I'll be staying at, the one that I've prepaid, and I'll be there for 4 nights. So that will give me an opportunity to actually do some slowing down, maybe. So there will be some actual relaxation, some actual not doing very much. So I guess, yeah, my intentions are to sort of follow the same suit of the previous road trip that I did before, because I know that this works really well, of planning out a little bit in advance of my sort of bucket list of sorts, of the places that I want to see and the things that I want to do. But building in enough flexibility that on the day I can still make some changes. But I really want to get some outdoor time in without giving too much away. I definitely want to, yeah, really soak up everything there is that camping offers. I think that's going to be so exciting, just being by myself and camping and being under the stars, and just that peace and quiet, that peacefulness, I think is going to be really exciting. So, I've told a few people about my plans, about that I'm doing this solo road trip in my camper car. And the word that keeps coming up is the word brave. Like, oh, you're brave. I don't know if I'd be doing that. And that's interesting. I mean, that's a lovely compliment. And I sort of was thinking a little bit last week about, like, why do people think that? Like, why do people think that that's a bit brave? I think because, being a human, I compare myself to so many people, and I compare myself to so many other amazing, fearless solo travelers. And there's female solo travelers that have gone to all sorts of places all over the world, and I'm like, compare myself to that, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty tame compared to some of the things I see other people do. But I guess in our own worlds, like it is my version of a bit of bravery, I guess. Like it is a long way to drive by myself, and I will be alone the whole time. Is it that I probably should just ask people why they think that's brave, but I'm assuming it's just being alone for that period of time, and is it just the fact that maybe that's a bit unusual sometimes, like people just spending that amount of time by themselves. So it'll be, so I'll spend about, I think it's like 3 nights with one of my buddies, but then the rest of the time I'll be by myself. So it'll be a good 2 weeks that I will be completely by myself. And I guess maybe previously I might have seen that as a bit of a challenge or a bit of a ambitious thing to do. But I think because I've already done it before, I've already done a solo trip already, not to this size, but I've still been almost 2 weeks by myself before. It was probably, almost 2 weeks, because I visited some family as well in between that trip. But I guess I more so look at it as something to be really excited about, is spending this amount of time by myself. And that leads me to another goal that I have, and that is to soak up as much of an opportunity to be by myself as possible. I think that's going to be the difference between this trip and the first solo road trip that I did. And that is, I sort of know what to expect in terms of how it feels to be completely by myself for a longer period of time, out on the road, out on an adventure. Because I'm by myself most of the time in my home, but I guess I do have the two doggos, so I'm never truly alone, am I? Whereas I will be like proper alone, I guess, on this road trip. And I sort of, I know what to expect now. And I think because I'll be a little bit less nervous this time, I know how to handle myself, and I know what to do, and or I know that I'm capable of like handling the unexpected and things like that. That because I'll sort of have that anxiety sort of lessened, I guess, that I can spend a bit more time just really soaking up the experience and really getting even to a deeper place of reflection with myself along the way as well. I'm bringing my journal. And I guess the other really big change is the fact that I'm going to be recording the adventure as many steps of the way as I can this time. So that's going to be a huge difference. And I hope that will give me the opportunity to reflect a bit and absorb those experiences a little more, because I'll be sort of sharing them both with myself and with anyone that's watching this channel. So so that's sort of my thoughts so far. I haven't even really had a chance to even really get excited about the trip yet, because as I said, I've just been so flat out and then unwell as well. So it's been a lot. I've got I'm just going to like pre-record a couple of videos, or at least one other video before I go, just have a bit banked up, because I don't know, when I'm going to be able to access internet and things like that. So I want to have another video backed up just in case. So there might be another video in between this one and the road trip. That's just to give you something to watch while I'm scooting around trying to edit the video footage that I find and things like that. So that might explain that. It's today's Tuesday. I leave on Thursday, so I leave in 2 days. And am I packed? No. Am I organized? No. I still have all day at work today and tomorrow to get that done. And then we're away on Thursday. And if anyone's wondering what's happening with the dogs, I've got my dad who's going to be house sitting for me while I'm away. So I'm really grateful for that. Dad really loves it, and the boys really love him. So so that's what's happening with the doggo boys. I'd love to take them, but little Mo is not the best car traveling dude. He doesn't like the car, and it's just to have him in a car for 2.5 weeks is probably just a bit too much to ask of him, poor little guy. So that explains that as well. So that's where we're at the moment. That's how we're feeling. This is a little bit chaotic and scattered, and that's very representative of how my head's going right now. That's where we are. I'm really excited. I guess my current self saying to my future self, you know, have a great time. Really absorb this. Remember, this is a choice. This is not a chore. There might be big days. Sometimes you might, it might be annoying to have to pack up the campsite every night. We're getting on the road every day, long hours of driving some of those days. But remember, you chose this. This is what freedom looks like for you. And there were many, many years before that you would have never dreamed you would have the opportunity to do something like this. So just remember those things. Excuse me, guys. It's just me talking to me at the moment. So just reminding myself to enjoy this and remember that it was a choice. And I can't wait to share with you what happens. Talk to you soon.